Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome to Isabella Banks YouTube channel, where we discuss all things Harry, Meghan, and their level up journey. If you're new here, I'm Wizzy, and it's great to meet you virtually. So, guys, how's your week going so far? As per usual, we are discussing the wacky world of the toxic British media, the British royal family, and how Harry and Meghan are dealing with the smear campaign. Welcome on board. Choo choo. Let me say hello to the people in the comment section. Hello, Vivian. Hello, LMZ. Hello, Maria Luisa de los Reis. Hello, Lee M. Hello, Dolores Sims, Angelique, Gwen, Sam. Hi, how you doing? How are you all keeping? Hi, Jennifer. How you doing? Nice to see you. We're just beginning, so you're right on time. So, guys, there's quite a bit to talk about today, but I am not going to be talking about it all today because I have something to do after this. So, it's going to be a relatively short one, but let's see how much we can get done before I have to skedaddle. Okay? Well, first of all, let's talk about this story that was floating around, which is the one where where the media were trying to smear the owner of the airline and saying that Harry and Meghan were accepting free flights from a wanted fugitive who was under questioning for over $20 million worth of money laundering. Well, I am very pleased to bring you a conclusion to that bit of the story because it turns out that while there were questions asked of the gentleman in question, his name is Dr. Alan Onyema, it turns out that he won the case. Uh, turns out he won the case. So it was a non starter from the beginning. When they saw that they could not get him on that one, I hope he sues them actually because it was an obvious attempt to smear his reputation, his business reputation for that matter. Um, Before jumping on to the next thing that they did, I think it's worth mentioning that apart from the controversy that he has now been drawn into the Harry and Meghan controversy with the in their battle against the media and the royal family. He on his own is in a battle with the foreign airliners because before this year, or should I say, yeah, I think this year, before this year, Nigeria didn't have any national carrier. They didn't have their own airplanes for plane trips outside of Nigeria. They were reliant on all the foreign carriers like Lufthansa, British Airways, Virgin, and all of those that exist. But this man was able to gather the funds together to create an airline that not only plies the Nigerian internal routes but also applies the external routes. And when he entered the market, airlines for to give you some perspective of the impact of his entrance into the market, right? So airlines like British Airways and Lufthansa and all the other airlines, they used to charge something like I think £1,500 per ticket. So that is on a trip from UK to Lagos. When he entered the market at a ticket price of, let's call it £800. It wasn't even up to £800. When they saw that he had entered the market at that price, they went further and undercut him even further, trying to freeze him out of the market. So he kind of has two battles on his hands, and I hope that he is able to survive in the shark infested waters that he now finds himself in. But if there was any way he was ever going to promote his airline, it would have been with the Harry and Meghan trip. So I'm happy for him because with the opposition against him, he now finds himself becoming even more well known. And every attack that they have put against him, he's been able to overcome by setting the record straight. So, apart from this allegation, which they said they were holding over his head, he's been able to prove that yes, there was a court case, but he won the case. Every allegation that was made against him, he was able to overturn. And apart from that, they also allege that his company was in breach of safety regulations in the UK, safety breach regulations in the UK. And again, they were forced to put out a statement confirming that any reports of any breach has since been resolved. So, uh, if they were trying to say that Air Peace was not a capable airline, they have been defeated on all counts. He now has to be very careful in how he runs his business because um, I'm sure that they will be looking for anything that they can do. They're going to be trying to find anything against anyone and everyone from this moment forward. On one hand, I think, oh, what an annoyance. But I think for Nigeria, I think it's great because it will force them to make sure that they have got everything in order. So, as annoying as it is for Nigerians, I think they need the added pressure just to get themselves together so that they are competitive on an international playing field. Right. So, guys, I haven't talked about this in a while, but before we continue, guys, don't forget that we've got a membership on this channel. Please click the join button at the front of the channel's page so that you can join the membership of my channel. When you join the membership of any of the channels on YouTube, you're providing substantive report support for the channel ownership, which allows us to keep producing content on a high level scale because it takes a lot of time to be able to produce this content to go into to go into the content in a level that allows us to produce the news or any of the topics of discussion in a detailed manner. Um, as it is right now, uh, it the channel membership allows me the time to be able to do this full time, so I don't have to go out and look for more jobs to add to the ones that I'm already doing, which allows me to do this. So please support my channel by joining the membership on the channel. The On the first level of the channel, we've got two levels of membership. We've got the Sussex Roadies, which is £4.99. So see, £4.99 is a good price. And on the second level, we've got the Royal Insider, which is £12.99. And I will just tell you the benefits. So when you subscribe to the channel membership, you get a member shout out, priority replies to comments, early access to new videos. I'm going to start implementing that from tomorrow. And YouTube channel spotlights. So and member only chat rooms where we discuss a lot more of the things that we discuss when we're reporting the news in greater detail. So, um, if you've not already done so, please go ahead to join the membership of the channel. Okay? All right. Moving on. So, guys, we've been seeing reports that Prince Harry is ready to forgive the royal family, but two key royals are blocking the path to family reconciliation. When asked who was resisting reconciliation, Jenny Bond, she said, well, early on, it was Harry who was demanding an apology. There was going to be no meeting of minds or meeting in reality until there was an apology for the affront he thought had been made to his wife. But now I think the tables have turned somewhat. Messages are coming Messages coming from Harry's side are that he's ready to forgive and that he loves his family. He said that quite publicly. He wants to see more of them. However, since this is the royal rota, I would take whatever they have to say with a bucket of salt, not a pinch of salt, a bucket of salt. Given that Harry and Meghan have always said that no one speaks for them. But since we are not living in their homes and we are left to interpret the actions that we see playing out before us, then I would say if Harry, just like Jenny Bond had said, if Harry had said, look, I need an apology before there can be any reconciliation, I don't really think that that much has changed. But I do believe that since the cancer diagnosis, he's been willing to sit down and have a conversation. And then he was waiting for the apology, which never came. So they went back to the beginning again. Like they're back to the beginning because how do you have a conversation with people who are not ready to address the issues? You can't. So this is the reason why Megan didn't step a foot inside the UK. She stayed at the airport waiting for her man. And they left to wherever they went to. So that's good and great. So having failed to smear Harry and Meghan, having failed to smear Harry and Meghan's business relationships, they have now turned their attention back to the relationship between Harry and his father. And the articles they are putting out at the moment, I just think it's really very important for them to put King Charles in the strongest of lights, even though it makes him look like the worst dad in history. Because they say sources suggest, what's this? They say sources suggest that King Charles will always hold a special place for Harry in his heart, but he's not interested in any drama and wishes to spend his later years in peace. Doesn't that sound like him saying, if you don't do what I want, I'm cutting you off and I never want to see or talk to you anymore, ever again? This is a 75-year-old man who has claimed that he has cancer and he's receiving treatment for cancer. They say um, King Charles has said, Harry has made his bed and so he's going to lie on it. Well, the point is that if this is their opinion, then they don't need to cry when Harry comes to down for whatever reason and doesn't make time to see his father. Let me look at your comments. Idalina Oliveira says, for someone who has cancer, he looks really well. Well, that's right. And I was going to actually make a comment on that. And then I thought to myself, well, if they say that to him, he can come back and say, well, I'm not getting the orthodox medical treatment. I think he's trying out some alternative treatment for the cancer, and he might claim that that is the reason why he is like he's not experiencing the usual cancer treatment side effects, like the loss of hair, loss of weight, falling out of his teeth. Yeah. Uh, You, oh, Idalina says you're a cancer survivor, so you know what you're talking about. I believe you, honey. I'm just saying that that's what they would say. That's what they would say. He would say that he's doing alternative cancer treatment, and that is the reason why he's not losing hair or doing any other things. Uh, Hey, Sussex love, how are you doing? Say that's right. He's doing alternative treatment, and not many people do alternative to chemo when they have cancer. So, what does he really have? Like one of the writers said, he doesn't have cancer. Right? They can't seem to make up his mind whether he has cancer or not. Mm. And for something like this, you know that somebody has to pass away to know the truth, to get to the root of the matter. Anyway, King Charles is making it known that he has frozen Prince Harry out. All I've got to say about this is whatever the media have on King Charles must be really strong for him to think that it's better for him to continue to be seen as a useless and horrible human being, whatever it is, than for him to and step up and support his son. Also, may I just say, it crossed my mind that King Charles's attitude may be such a very male way of handling this issue, because outside of them being royals, outside of King Charles being the king, don't you think that this is a very male way of handling issues, especially when you've got a stubborn male kind stubborn males in conflict. Anyway, I I just thought to myself, wow, whatever the British media have on him must be really bad for him to prefer to be seen as a bad father, bad husband, than for the truth to come out. Thierry says Charles using cancer to gain popularity, but his old ass would be exposed. I believe so. I believe that the truth will certainly come to light very soon, sooner than they expect, because they're not accounting for the advancement in technology. And they really believe that people believe in the same old English principles. And there's this, because of it, there is this ongoing argument about whether Prince Harry requested permission to stay in a royal residence. And then King Charles, still briefing, even though they say that the royal family doesn't brief, still briefing through his minions, he then does say, well, I did offer you a home, but you refused to stay there. And they say, or through the Telegraph, King Charles has leaked that he offered Harry a place to stay, and Harry refused to stay there. And Harry says, well, according to the Telegraph, they say, yes, he was offered a place to stay, but he wasn't given security. So he decided that he was going to stay where he would feel secure, because if you put him in a place without security and everyone knows where he is, then he's not safe. So he didn't stay there. Look at this, what we've got on the screen. It says, however, Charles did agree to a request from his youngest son to stay at an undisclosed royal residence, aware that he no longer has an official UK home. And it says the Duke declined because the offer did not come with any security provision, meaning he would have been staying in a visible location with public entrance and exit points and no police protection. See? Let's talk about this case, because is what we've got here is not Harry losing the case. What we've got is an update in the case. If you guys remember, in March, Harry's lawyers applied to government for the release of the Leveson inquiry documentation, and that was approved. When Harry's lawyers received the documentation, they now applied to amend their documentation. They received permission to amend the documentation. When they got the permission to amend the documentation, then they set a court date for the judge to determine whether the amendments that were made to the court documents would be approved. So that's what we're currently dealing with. And the judge in the case has ruled that some of the amendments proposed by Harris' team could be made, including, so some of the amendments that the judge has permitted to be included following the release of the Leveson documents include allegations that senior executives at the Sun, NGN, lied to the Leveson inquiry and concealed and destroyed evidence. Also, Harry was allowed to make some changes to his individual case, but could not introduce new allegations from 1994, 1995, and 2016, or add new allegations of phone hacking despite what he discovered. And the judge gave his rationale for reaching that ruling. He said that Rebecca Brooks and James Murdoch, who are already trusted lieutenants of Murdoch, have already had allegations um, put against them in the trial, and so there would not be any need for Rupert Murdoch's name to be included in the trial. That seems a bit wishy washy to me, because I believe that there should be corporate and individual liability, but the judge seems reluctant to allow Harry to include Murdoch's name in this case. Now, it seems to me, just from looking at it, that Harry would be able to, if he wanted to, he could file a separate case from this one, which has Murdoch's name included. That will completely sweep Murdoch away if that happens. But it will be definitely very expensive for that to happen. I'm talking about very expensive in the almost tens of millions. And w- we don't know whether Harry would have an appetite for such an expensive case. And you better believe that Murdoch will be coming at the case with all his money. Because what the judge says, it just seems to be very weak. And It is very possible that Harry could decide that he would appeal the ruling. There is every possibility that he could appeal the ruling because the judge's ruling doesn't really make much sense to me. Because what he says is that, tempting though it is, no doubt is, for the claimant's team to attempt to charge the man at the very top, doing so will add nothing to a finding that Miss Brooks and Mr. James Murdoch or other senior executives knew and were involved, if that is proved to be the case. Well, it all depends on what Harry decides that he wants to do. But what Harry was definitely allowed to do was to make allegations against a number of additional journalists and private investigators and make allegations of tapping of landlines and land voice mails. Harry has always said that this is going to be a marathon and not a sprint, and he is on a journey. So I think this is him. He is in the middle of the field of the battle, and it's not an easy one. Not an easy one by no means, as we have seen play out in the media. Meanwhile, what does this woman who is continually sour in her soul have to say? Angela Levin, she doesn't disappoint with her foolishness. She says it's not Harry's job to bring about positive change. Then who has got the right? I didn't know that there was a specific person who has the right to campaign for change. I mean, we need to campaign to get her off our screens, but hey, that's a different thing altogether. Before I move on, let me look at your comments. Um, Joy says, you would think of all the money Willie and Chucky have and all their tabloids they in bed, they would be happy, but instead they're worried about what Harry and Meghan are doing. Yeah, because they want to make sure that Harry and Meghan don't make any business or financial progress so that they stop fighting against this case. I find that I have to keep on reminding people that everything that we're seeing play out in the media is needs to be looked at through the lens of this case. His relationship with his father, his relationship with William, even the Kate thing, even the Camilla thing, everything we need to look at through the lens of what is happening with this case. Because if it goes to trial, if Harry succeeds and this case goes to trial, there are going to be, you know, when Cat Williams said at the beginning of the year that 2024 it's up, yep, they're going to be exposure, and not just the media, but the royal family to a large degree. So to them, that's why they think in their minds that Harry is being a traitor, because they're like, okay, if you know this thing is going to expose me, so why then are you bringing the case? Well, I wouldn't have to bring the case if you would do your part, which is to call the media off. You're not going to do that because you feel like that is a disrespect. Why am I asking you? Why am I challenging your authority? Okay, so I can't live this way and I can't live this way. So what do you want me to do? I have to fight my way through. And that's exactly what has happened. Gwen Daniels says, Puppy Love. I don't get there. Okay. And that demon on the screen and his minion are all baggage for God. Sweet Karma is coming for each one of them. Yep. Yeah, you're looking at millions and millions of dollars. Yep. Okay, I'm going to skip you. Compare royal family figureheads to Prince Harry, a real boss, CEO, director of philanthropy. Prince Harry is in charge of his own life. Exactly. Woo! The judge is saying that is supposed to be a separate case, but that would be too expensive. And I believe the hand of King Charles is all over this. They are trying to make things difficult for him. Yeah, They're trying to make things difficult for him because if he's going to bring a separate case so that he can now include Murdoch or make the allegations stick against Murdoch, that's going to be super expensive because you best believe that Murdoch will throw everything at it. And he's a billionaire, right? Idenita says there was an actor from California that didn't go against Murdoch because of so much money. Hmm. Sussex Love says, who is she? The campaign for change decider. Okay, I'm going to scroll down to the end. Angela, who lied in public and was challenged, and then she hid away. Now she has crawled out again. Yeah, look at what being sour does to one's soul. Okay, and hi, Vinny Blair. How are you? I hope you're good. Hope you're good. Okay, so Charles, in my opinion, Charles has never had cancer. He has prostate issues, which caused him to look sick earlier on, but never cancer. Do you know what? I believe that. I saw something on Twitter, and as people have rightfully guessed or surmised, that much of this cancer announcement came from when well, I think it was after the Omid Scobit book where he said that no, he didn't say it actually. Piers Morgan was the one who said Kate and King Charles were the named racists, right? And then while we were still trying to recover from that bombshell, then the um Epstein documents were released. And since those documents were released, Kate disappeared. I saw something on Twitter which said that once the list was released, Kate ran to the king and asked for permission to s- completely cancel her public life. And the king agreed on condition that she appeared for Christmas one last time, and she agreed that. And so I think what we're going to see is that we will no longer be seeing Kate in public, which means, do you remember when the Epstein documents were released and they said that some names were redacted? It is very possible that there was more to determine and drop from those Epstein documents. And that's the reason for the cancer announcement, because it was after all of that, then we now heard Kate has cancer and the king has cancer too. It was just like cancer was being shared around. Kate has cancer, you have cancer, you have cancer, everyone has cancer. Rachel says, every time I see Angela and Nana, I feel like throwing my phone and stomping on it. Okay, let me change the photograph on the screen. As I said when we started, I have something that um I need to go and do afterwards. So let's move on to this week's Activism Tuesday. Okay, are you guys ready? If you have not already done so, please go ahead to subscribe to the Invictus Games channel, the Invictus Nigeria YouTube channel. Let me get you the link so you can go ahead to subscribe to the channel. They only have 235 subscribers. Let's get them let's get them to 1000 subscribers at least. We can all see the challenge that Harry and Meghan are facing. Subscribing to these channels, it doesn't cost us anything. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do your bit. Do your bits. Let's not let these forums that we have not just be a place where we sit down and talk about the mess and all that is happening. Let's actually do make some constructive change to the situation by supporting where we can support free of charge. Let's make a huge difference by supporting the Invictus Games YouTube channel. I have just dropped the link to the Invictus Games YouTube channel in the chat. If you haven't already subscribed, please drop out, go subscribe, and come back. We've got a few more things that we have got lined up to do. We've got a few more things lined up that we can do in this video, in this live stream. Carlene says, I have just subscribed. Hey, Puppy Love, thanks for subscribing. Come on, guys, let's go ahead to subscribe. Let's make a difference. Let's make a difference. Idalina, while people are subscribing, I'm going to be going through the comments. Says Charles is on the list with Epstein. What is it that they go there to do? More than anything else, I want to understand what the mystery is. What is it all about? Because I need to understand why Charles would leave the UK and go to Epstein Island. To do what and why? To do what and why? Why? Somebody tell me why. Yes, but they have kids in the UK. So why are they going there? And is it a requirement for something? I want to know the backstory. Why is it that certain people have this appetite? Why is it that certain people have this appetite? Because it seems to be an affliction that is currently pervading the Hollywood scene as well, right? Is it connected to modern slavery and human trafficking? What is it about? Is it about a secret society? Who has got the tea? I need to know. Rachel says she needs an exorcism and divine intervention as well. And the Holy Ghost fire. Holy Ghost. um, he says that troll doll Angela Levin must be awful lonely. She's still stalking Prince Harry, even though he only knew her for 15 minutes. Absolutely. Okay. Should we move on to the next one? Thank you guys for subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, I'm going to drop the link again in the chat for those people who didn't catch the link the first time. Subscribe to the Invictus Games Nigeria YouTube channel. Let's get them to 1000 subscribers. Charles is guilty of felicide. He betrayed his youngest son. He switched Harry with an impersonator while Harry has been in what? Been in Afghanistan June 2015 to 2024. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one before. I will definitely be googling that because that seems juicy as hell. Hello. They said Ron DeSantis was going to release the rest of the list in June or July. Well, I cannot wait to understand what it is. Why do they need to have free cuffs with the children? Why do they need to have uh Idolina? It looks like I need to have a conversation with you because obviously there's some things we can't discuss in detail over here. I do you have your email address on your about page so I can call you and find out what going because the I need to know the whole story. I need to know what it's all about because all of right now they're just talking about things in isolation. But we need to know what the gist of it is. Why is it that Hollywood, like the rappers, they're all about pretending to be straight? Why can't they just do what they do and be themselves? What is it about? What is it connected to really? Why is it that they seem to be having relationships with underage people? Why? What is that about? What is it connected to? Why? There's so many questions. We see things that seems like they're scandals, but when you look at the scandal, it's obvious that there is more to the story. And Yeti, Yeti Mansion in New York City with all the girls who groomed, and that's where Andrew went, aka they had a party in the UK. Do you think that some of those people who were arranging those things in America brought the party to the UK as well? Okay, please Google my name, Beverly Wills or Beverly Rook. Right away, Mama. I'm doing that right away. Uh, Sussex love who? Who is the crazy troll? I put on the troll spray, so I would be surprised if there was a troll in here. Beverly Wales or Beverly Rook. So all these rich billionaires would go with all these girls after you sell Maxwell groomed them to Epstein. Wow. Puppy Love says, Isabella, Google the information. It's out there. The kids are vulnerable, kids that have no family. Yeah, but what purpose? Are you saying it's just about the freak? That's what I'm not clear about. Is it that it's just about the freak? That it maybe I'm the one sounding dumb, but I just can't like a father or a grandfather. Is that the appetite that you have to have free cups with? I don't know. I don't know. So, guys, how have you gotten on with the subscription? I'm just going to put the link in the chat one more time for those who. Yes, Jimmy Savile. Yes, 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 yes. Do you know what? And so, and there was this story going about that Angela Levin knew about what was happening with Jimmy Savile, but she said nothing. This is connected to something. It'd be interesting to know what it's connected to. Because it's obvious that there's more to the story. As heavy as these stories are, uh, as heavy as as heavy as these stories are, it is quite obvious that there's more to the story. So I will definitely look into it. The powers that be have taken over the rap industry like a lot of other industries. There's a certain people in control of everything. American Black people are starting cultural reappropriation. I I believe that. Absolutely. Anyway, okay, so the next one we have on our list for Activism Tuesday is this one, right? So, um, if you have got what I was going to suggest with this one, right, is since they blasted the news all over the place about this man being um, having allegations against him for $20 million worth of of money laundering. I think we should also, if you've got a platform, share the same information that he had been acquitted of the allegation. So I am going to share the link to this article. I am sharing the link to this article on the screen. If you've got a platform, can you find a way to share it on your platform? I am going to be sharing it on the community page of both my accounts. So if you've got a page, a social media, and you can share it on your page, just a simple share. You don't even have to say anything. Just share it on your page. US court acquits Air Peace bus, fines Mayfield 4,000. And this one, if you haven't signed this petition, please go ahead to sign this petition. It's still ongoing. It's still ongoing right now. Go ahead, sign the petition. When it gets enough, when it gets enough signatures, it becomes something that can be used to push the agenda. And then it goes into the news, and then it starts a whole domino effect, which will get us closer to the goal. So, let me find the link for you. Let me find the link for you. Just a minute. So far, it hasn't gotten that many signatures, just 227. What do you say we get it to 300? Puppy Love says it doesn't matter that he was acquitted! Exclamation mark. The narrative is what is important. Once fools get it in their head, it stays. It stays if there's no pushback. And if we have it everywhere, then it does push back against those who have critical reasoning. Not everybody is a sheep. I know the amount of people who come to my channel to verify stuff, or when they see something that I post on my community page, they say, "Oh, I saw so and so XYZ, but I just saw XYZ on your community page." I say, "Yeah, that's the reason why it's there." Sometimes you can debunk without saying much of anything. And Idelina says you got three links. No, there are two, because I'm currently streaming through uh okay, yeah, I'm streaming to my two channels on my Instagram page. So but it's the same link, it's just the one. No, you don't have to be a British citizen. I don't think so. Hmm. I think Harry was used when he was told about his father's so-called cancer. It was just part of the sympathy they were seeking. Maybe that's the reason why he turned around and left so quickly, because he got there and realized that it wasn't true anyway. And maybe they weren't expecting him to respond so quickly. Lottie says Prince Harry, just let it go because Charles and William are behind this. Let the good Lord deal with them. You know, to people like me, that is so frustrating, because it's not like uh, very much the Bible is full, and there is a word for every situation. And while it does say we should leave certain fights for God to take care of, but at the same time, faith without works is dead, right? So then, are you just supposed to then sit back if somebody is rushing at you with a car? Do you just sit there and allow the car to crush you? Very controversial. I don't know. Everyone with their different beliefs anyway. But what I'm just trying to say is that that's not something that can work for everybody. And as women, we tend to think about things a bit differently than men. And if everybody just let everything be, then the world will go to hell. I think we should support those who actually have the courage to get up and try to make a change, rather than just saying, "Don't worry, just leave it, just leave it, just leave it." If everybody just left it, the world would go to hell. He can't leave it. It's just not in his genetic makeup to leave it. And it's not even about him seeking his family's validation, his own validation. He himself is not made up to be this kind of person not to care. So I think it is extremely difficult. It's also an added pressure in the head of anyone whose makeup is not the kind to just sit there and allow themselves to be abused without fighting back. So mm, I think it's really difficult when we keep telling people, just don't do anything, just be quiet, just be quiet. If people were quiet about the abuse of racism or slavery, we wouldn't have had the civil rights movement, and there would still be slaves today. I equate the fights that Harry is currently in to almost the civil rights movement. And it must be frustrating for him to be in such an important battle and have people tell him Don't worry, just leave it, just leave it. Just go about. He can't. He can't. First of all, in his genetic makeup, it's not there. And number two, in order for him and Megan to be able to live their lives, they have to carve out, they have to fight for a space to be able to live. They have to ensure that they draw the boundaries around them sufficient enough for the papers and the media or whoever to know that, to see their actions as a deterrent, to know that if they try to abuse them, that Harry and Meghan will fight back. If they just leave it, then they will keep on being dragged all over the place and they will never be able to make the kind of progress that they want to make. So I don't even think that leaving it is an option. Charles and William signed a contract with the devil. There are a lot of sheep, wolves in sheep clothing. I can completely agree. It's quite obvious. It's quite obvious that they signed a contract with the devil. They did things in the past. They did things in the past that has now caught up with them. And I do believe at a certain point, King Charles was trying to see whether he could balance his agreement with the devil with his relationship with the son. However, whatever position he wanted to take required him to be in a position where he was still abusing Harry. And as Harry grew, that became intolerable. Yeah. So to dig dive with the true story, please delete in the story the posters, the Duke of Sussex and Meghan Markle. They were hired to cover up the truth. Okay. So am I to take it? I think to dig dive with the true story, please delete in the story the imposters, the Duke of Sussex and Meghan Markle. They were hired to cover up the truth. Are you saying that Harry and Meghan are imposters? You know what? Let me Google you now. Beverly Beverly Marcinas Rook. Uh, to all, I'm just looking at your Twitter page, Beverly. You are spouting some. I will need to look at this more closely. I will need to look at this more closely, and because it just seems like, ooh, so very different ideas. Very different ideas indeed. Beverly says she was married. She's the wife of Prince Harry, and you got married via the United Nations in 2016. Okay, so are you able to share some of your photographs with us? Share some of your photographs with us. And how long have you been married for? Sussex Love says crazy troll alert. Oh dear. Okay. You know why I'm giving it some space? Sometimes some truths sound like they're crazy. So I'm giving it some space just so that I give it the chance to burn out on its own. She's not just saying it here. She's got a whole Twitter page where she spouts this stuff. She's got a whole Twitter page where she's spouting this stuff. So, um, uh, Deb says, don't entertain this troll. Okay. Okay. Hi, Lady Rose. How are you doing? You came at the very end and you just missed something very funny that happened. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to to move on. So, guys, I know that sometimes it might seem like what we are doing with this gentle activism doesn't make any difference at all. But I want to show you this. So, on YouTube, when you report videos for whatever reason, you have something called a report history. And what you can see on the screen right here is an extract from my YouTube report history. And can you see that although some of the videos I reported remain live, on here one of the videos I reported has been removed, and I believe that this was one of the more egregious videos from Thomas Markle. So I just wanted to show you this. I just wanted to show you this report history for those people who often say, I report a certain channel or I report a certain video and it remains up. It would tend to be that way if you are the only one who is reporting the video. But if we like 100 people report a particular video and we use the right process to do it, it would tend to get that video removed. Like I remember this video that we were talking about, that was the day that something came out about Doria, and we stormed to his channel to report that video, and that video was taken down. So well done, everyone. I give you applause for achieving that. We achieved something with that uh, report on Thomas Markle's channel. Yay! Okay, guys, that's all I have for this video. And I think I will be up again on Thursday, but I might drop a video tomorrow because I need to talk about these fake Kates or AI Kates press releases that are being published at the moment, and I don't think I can wait till Thursday to talk about it also. I might just release a recorded video. Hey, Lottie says these people have been effing with Harry and Meghan for 8 years, and so far nothing works. And trust me, nothing is going to work. I rebuke and bind that in the name of Jesus. I rebuke and bind that in the name of Jesus. Something will work in the name of Jesus. By the fire of the Holy Ghost, every negative power that is fighting against the progress of Harry and Meghan shall be destroyed by fire in the name of Jesus. I'm sorry to all those who are not Christians who are listening to me pray, but I just can't deal with any kind of negativity because for me, sitting back and doing nothing just does not work. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much for being here. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for joining me on this one. Until my next video, it's Wheezy signing out. Ciao.